Well, hi everybody. It's really great to be here. This is my first business trip to Chicago, and it's really cool to see a manufacturing facility like this. I got to tell you, it is extremely encouraging for me to see Americans building the high-tech things that you do here in the hoses. Seeing a manufacturing operation is really encouraging. And in the space business, there's a lot of companies like yours around the country. There's like 1,000 suppliers that do different things for us, make very unique, high-tech equipment. It's always a really small part of the business, and it's not something that you see every day, but it's really important to us because it makes America's space program work. And these types of things are always very important to us from a safety point of view. Like Jim was talking about, this high-pressure oxygen. We can't have a space station without it, and so I know this is not what you do 99% of the time, and the revenue and the equipment that you're making here, it is a small part, but we really do appreciate it because it's important for us, and it's what makes our space program work. Without this hose, we can't have the oxygen, like Jim said, on the space station that lets us do spacewalks, and if we can't do spacewalks, we can't have a space station, so it's really important for us. And what's cool for me is that hopefully I may be the guy that installs this, and I'll certainly be using it while I'm there. So it's near and dear to my heart. But it's good being here in Chicago. There's a couple of Chicago astronauts. A guy named Lee Archambault is a good friend of mine. He's a pilot from here, and I was hearing that White Castle is the place to go. Is that true? Maybe like on the way to the airport, we'll have to stop by and get one of those later on tonight. But I've got a video to show from my space shuttle flight from a few years ago. It was an assembly mission on the space station. We brought up 2 modules. It was the only flight that brought up 2 modules on one flight. One was Node 3, which is our big living area, and the other one was the cupola, which is this big 7-windowed module that's the coolest module up there. It's everybody's favorite place. You can look out and see the Earth, and it's really awesome. So I'll show you a video that walks through pretty much a space station flight. Now, we're not flying space shuttles anymore, sadly, so that part of it's gone. When I go up next year, I'll be launching on a Russian Soyuz. It's a small capsule. It's how we get people to and from the station. But I'll be going to the same place, and I'll show you some of the same sites. And if we can, I'll say pause a couple times, and I'll point out the hose locations for you. On the last flight, the Node 3 module requires cooling, and the coolant that we use in space is ammonia, which, as you guys know, it's in your house cleaners. There's ammonia, and it smells really strong, but that's really, really low concentration. The ammonia that we use is really dangerous. I mean, it's deadly. They say if you breathe it, it's too late. So we have these long ammonia hoses to move the coolant back and forth between the modules, and we keep those outside because we don't want them inside because ammonia is dangerous. And the Node 3 required this really long hose, and it was like an 8-meter hose, which is 25 plus feet, which was the longest hose ever. And that doesn't seem like you guys have these 200-foot hose things here, so 25 feet doesn't seem like much. But in space, when you're in a spacesuit that weighs 400 pounds and you're trying to deal with this hose that when you unwind it, it sticks out, and anyway, it's very difficult. It's a real pain in the butt to deal with these long hoses when you're doing a spacewalk. So, and I'll show you some of the video of them doing that, but they were having problems with their welding, and the hose wouldn't pass the burst test. And just a few weeks before launch, we were sending guys up to Huntsville, the NASA center in Huntsville, that was doing this to try and figure out what we're going to do. And anyway, it came down to we had to take shorter segments of hoses and weld them together because this one really big hose wouldn't work, and it almost delayed the shuttle and the space station program. These guys had to work extra overtime, but because of that problem that we had, I think that's kind of the genesis that brought U.S. hose into NASA, and we're using you guys to work on our hoses now because it's a tough problem to solve, especially the welding part of it is tough. And it just needs to be done right. So we're really happy and thankful that you guys do this work for us. It's important. So you'll get a chance to see the hose. When they welded this thing together, we called it Frankenhose because it was this conglomeration of different hose parts. And we'll show you in the airlock. The airlock is where you put your spacesuit on, get dressed up, and then go outside. And that's where this this thing's called NORS that we're setting up, and that's where it's going to be. So hopefully, if we can see it, I'll hit pause and just point it out for you guys. But we can start the movie. This is